Do not allow any healthcare provider to deter you or to deny you of knowing your condition or what you are supposed to know about your health. Did you know that if a medical provider harms you, you have the legal right to pursue care of compensation? Some health workers are doing amazingly well taking care of patients, whilst others are doing direct opposite of that. I am not conjuring stories or making up stories, but day in and day out, we hear a lot of stories on patients and healthcare providers' relationship. Some of the stories you hear, and at the end, you realize it is the fault of the client, whilst at times, too, it is the fault of the health worker. So, did you know that as a patient, you have your rights? I'm also here to tell you that you also have an equal responsibility to perform as a patient. So, anytime a situation happens, try to balance the two. It is your right, but did you perform your responsibility? This is the Lab Doctors channel. I will encourage you to comment on this video and like our videos and also share so that more people will be educated on their health and issues related to health. So, we are going to talk about medical errors and negligence in the health sector. Medical errors are the third leading cause of death in the United States of America. It accounts for about 200,000 deaths annually. So we are talking about a country that is advanced in technology in terms of health, their medical practices and treatment. This is a clear part that indicates that when it comes to medical errors, Ghana as a country is not exempted. It will interest you to know that most of these errors are as a result of medical negligence that occurs, which medical providers fall short of fulfilling their professional duties. When I talk about medical provider, it is not limited to the medical officer or doctor alone. Pharmacist is in there, medical laboratory scientist is in there, nurses, health information officers, we have sonographers, we have health statisticians, and many other health providers within the health fraternity. So, as I said earlier on, we are going to look at medical negligence, what can be classified as medical negligence. When you encounter such situation as a patient, what do you have to do, and a lot more. From our part of the world, we see our healthcare providers as demigod, where when situations occurs, you don't have to ask questions. Some patients don't even know their diagnosis, they don't know their lab results, and a lot more. That is why I said earlier that as a patient, you should know your rights and then your responsibilities. It is your right to know whatever that is happening to you and also whatever that is done on you as a patient. You have the right to ask questions about your conditions, about its improvements, about how things are happening around you. Just remember that you also have an equal responsibility to perform as a client. So, do not allow any healthcare provider to deter you or to deny you of knowing your condition or what you are supposed to know about your health. Did you know that if a medical provider harms you, you have the legal right to pursue care of compensation? It literally means that you have the right to take it to the law court so that you will be compensated rightfully. So, medical negligence occurs when a medical care provider fails to fulfill his or her professional duties. Every medical care provider has a duty of care they owe to patients or their clients. Now, let's look at the different medical negligence. Our first one is misdiagnosis. So this is where a patient is diagnosed of nephrotic syndrome whilst it is actually leukemia. So in such situation, you have a case. Our second one is failure to diagnose. So there are some key symptoms in some diseases most especially chronic and severe diseases. So, missing a symptoms in diagnosing a disease such as heart disease, then as a patient, you have a case. Failure to adequately monitor a patient. So you realize that there are some medical care providers, instead of coming at the right time, they either come late or administer drug at the wrong time, and even doing tests become a problem. And so if such actions directly affect your health or harmfully affect you as a patient, you have a case to pursue. Talking of anesthesia mistakes, instead of administering the right dose, you go on to administer overdose or underdose, which directly harm the patient. Improper administration of medications or drugs. We also have improper prescribing medications. We also have failure to obtain a formal consent of the patient. So there are some procedures and actions that, as a healthcare provider, you need to seek for the patient's consent before taking any further actions. Something like giving out the patient's health information publicly. There are some restrictions and there are some situations that you can't give without the patient's consent. And so, if you don't follow a proper due procedure, you may find yourself wanting as a healthcare provider. Talking of incorrect treatment, improper use of medical device, and leaving surgical instrument inside of a patient. So you know that all the negligence I have mentioned have a direct effect on the client. It poses a direct harm on patients. And so in such situations, all damages caused need to be compensated. Someone will ask that, why is it that health facilities are always included in legal issues related to medical negligence? This is because hospitals, health facilities, clinics under the law are liable for the harm their employee committed whilst on the job. So compensation for medical negligence includes one, treatment that was paid for that wasn't necessary. We have medical bills you incurred because of the negligence. We have emotional distress, loss of wages, pain and suffering. And finally, we have wrongful death damages. So these are things that are included during compensation when there is medical negligence. I hope that you are well informed, and so if you found yourself in this situation, you know what to do or you know the necessary steps to take. This is the Lab Doctors channel on YouTube. I encourage you to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, please share, and let's do this together. Your health is your wealth. Till we meet again.